Welcome to Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, your guide to mastering the realm of real estate in Central East Florida. I am Sir Lancelot Leonard, ready to uncover the secrets of seller strategies, home staging, mortgage mastery, and more. From Daytona Beach to Cocoa Beach, Lake County to St. Augustine, join me as we navigate the intricacies of real estate. As the leader of the Sir Lancelot Group at Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, I'm here to arm you with knowledge and innovation, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, unveiling the kingdom of real estate, one roundtable at a time. Today on the Real Estate Roundtable, we're joined by a powerhouse in Orlando real estate, Kathy Williams of Compass. From building lifelong client relationships to mastering the art of luxury home marketing, Kathy brings unmatched energy, expertise, and authenticity to everything she touches. Whether you're a first-time buyer, a savvy seller, or just curious about the Orlando market, get ready for insights that can truly shift your real estate game. Kathy, take us back. What first inspired you to jump into real estate, and what was that early journey like?
Wow. Well, thank you for that warm introduction. I appreciate that, Lancelot. And thank you for having me on the show. I guess if you take it back, it's been about 9 years ago, and I was not thinking about being in the real estate business at all. And I was just, but I was searching. I had been doing some work for a nonprofit. I was doing marketing for them. And I just felt like I should be doing something else. It was just, there was something in me that I was just like, I love doing this, but I felt like there was something else. And so it was really just kismet, I guess. It just happened. So I was talking to different people. A friend of mine who was a realtor, he said, you should get your license. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And he was like, just get your license. You can always refer, you can be a referral partner. I was like, okay. So I thought, well, that'll be interesting anyways. I'm a learner. So I like learning. So I went and took the class and took the test. I passed it the first time. Woohoo. And then the next week, my contract that I had with the nonprofit was cut for funding purposes. They ran out of funding. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm in real estate now. It was the only door that happened to be open at the moment. And I just walked right through it, and I haven't looked back. And I've been really grateful that it just happened that way for me.
That's awesome, man. You've built such a trusted name in the Orlando market. What core values or lessons shaped your approach in those foundations?
Well, I think that's a great question. I work mostly by referral. So I'd say 90% of my business is by referral. So I have to be able to wow my clients and really serve them at the highest level. So that has been one of my core principles, is serving my clients at the highest level. And, lifelong learning. I love to continue to learn. So with that, I've just, spent a lot of energy, like a lot of agents do, on, keeping on growing and learning. I've been in coaching for the past 9 years, and that's been instrumental, I think, in my growth. I think as any kind of business owner, I think having a coach is critical, because you have those moments of self-doubt, or you're just not sure if you're making the right steps in your business and personal life. And a coach can just help kind of reel you back in and set you on the right path. So that's also been a main staple to my business too.
I love coaching. I've been in coaching for, I don't know, close to 9, 10 years too, like you. Yeah. On and off. I did not always fully immersed in it, but I've done all the Tony Robbinses, which was interesting because that's life coaching. It's not business coaching, so it's a little different. And then business coaching, I was with KW. I did Bold and other things that helped me, become who I am and where I am in my business. And I really like coaching. It's really, it helps us, because it gives us that. How do you say that in the right way? It makes sure that we do what we need to do. Like, as
Yeah.
business owners and agents, we don't have a hammer over our head. Oh, you got to do this today. You got to do that today. It's not like we're working for someone. We're working for ourselves. So when you work for yourself, you only have yourself to rely on, really. So when there's a coach, hey, it's like, you promised me you're going to do this last week. Did you get it done? That helps us a lot.
It really does.
Um,
And the you spoke to your personal life as well. And I think it's really important because we're not just monolith, we're not just one thing. We are realtors, but we're also parents, we're, family members, we're community members. We've got a lot of roles that we have. And so why just be coached in one role? Let's, be coached in all areas of our life, and that'll help you be a better person. And being a better person helps you show up as the person that you need to be to serve your clients well and have a balanced life and business. And I think that's the key for me, that coaching has helped me drive my business to a better place and myself as well.
you said you like to get educated and study all the time. Any designations maybe that you worked on?
Oh gosh, let me think. What have I got the luxury
Specialist?
CHMS, I think it's called certified
Certified luxury specialist.
specialist.
Oh,
And then the GRI, of course, I think a lot of people get the GRI. And then I don't even know what that stands for. What does the GRI stand for?
I'm thinking about it. Not sure.
What it stands for?
Like CRS?
CRS, yes, GRI,
That's
CRS.
a big one because that's only 2% of realtors. That's something, certified residential specialist, that you can only get with a certain amount of production for a certain amount of years. You have to be in the business for X amount of time. And only 2% of all realtors actually carry that designation, which is a really fancy one. It's the top, I think it's the top designation for residential real estate that you could get, because it entails seller side and buyer side. So you
Mhm.
got both sides of the deal there. It's really
Yeah,
good.
I took
I'm
it.
CRS
I
too.
took it when was it? They were offering it for free after COVID, or not after COVID. What was it
That was
when?
a buyer's specialist.
No, this was CRS that I took.
CRS, really? They were offering it for free? I paid a lot of money for it.
I know, I know. That's why I jumped on it. I was like, nope, I'm doing it. Of course, you have to pay for the test. That's
Yes.
get you. You still have to pay, but still, I mean, it was good. It was
It,
so intensive, and I was doing it at the same time because I do coaching with Buffini and Company. I don't know if you've heard of
oh,
them.
nice. Yes, yes.
So they do a lot of training too. So I do a lot of things within their, organization. And so
Yeah.
it's a little bit different, setup, and you don't get it's not as well known as the other ones, but they're still really, the training is great. I go to a lot of the events that they hold, and those are phenomenal
That's
events.
where
So
you get a lot of referrals from,
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
These masterminds are incredible because you get to meet other people with the same mindset that help you out, from other parts of the country, with people moving over here.
Yes,
Buffini and Co. I think I have his book somewhere behind me. Maybe not in this one, maybe the other one, but I do have his book. I like all the coaches.
they're great.
I think they're in, doing what they do with the energy they do on stage is, I'm like, wow. Like, how do you have all that energy? They come
Not
out and they,
easy. Not easy, right? Just to be on like that and just, be able to, wow people and keep people's interest and excitement. I couldn't ever do that. And I have no desire to, but I love going to those events. I just like drink all the Kool-Aid because, I think that's the other part of this business is you need to do that to refill your tank and stay motivated and energized and all that, like the Tony Robbins stuff. Great stuff
oh
to
yeah.
keep like keep your mindset strong.
I agree 100%. It's just, you have to keep yourself motivated in this business. Self motivation is one of the things that we have to do for ourselves when you're a business owner, because
Yep.
nobody else is going to pat you on the back. Hey, good job, buddy. You're tapping yourself on the back. Hey, you did a good job on this. That's all you get, really. You work for yourself. Yeah. So Compass is known for innovation. How do you use tech and marketing tools to elevate your client's experience?
Okay, so they do have an amazing technology platform. One of the things that attracted me to them was their technology platform. So when they have a CRM, obviously everybody has a CRM, but the whole platform includes your business tracker. So like all your transactions are in there, all of your marketing. So you don't have to leave the platform to go do stuff. Like I don't have to log into the MLS. It's all on the platform. So I don't have to go anywhere for anything. Basically, I can do all my social media posts that I want to. I mean, we create our own reels and things like that. But if you want to just do a quick post, I don't have to go to Canva and create something and come back. It's all right there. We also have some different programs like the private exclusive program that we have that's you can manage that everything. So really, everything on that I do in my business is right there. I don't have to leave and go out and come back to it for any reason. So it's really a great program. It has a lot of AI baked in it. It's got a lot. So when I do a CRM, again, that's all right there. And I just click, click. One time I was at a listing appointment and I realized I hadn't done the CRM before I got there. And
Wow.
got my laptop and we're just chatting and I'm like quickly doing my CRM while she is, sitting there and I'm talking, oh, what did tell me about your dog, and I'm doing it really quick in the background. I got it done because it's that easy to work with. So it makes your life easier. So some of the tasks that maybe took you a lot of time, another way forward facing to the client. There's several things that are really impressive to them. Of course, we have our own app, so they can do all their searches, on the Compass app. So when we set them up with the collection of homes, they can, look at all of that on the app and then also do, add to the search. If they want to expand the search themselves, they can do that on the app. And then the other thing is when we get ready to tour homes, the tour, I love, that's one of my favorite parts of it. When I set up a tour, it does the whole map thing. But again, I don't have to leave Compass. And then I send them this link and it shows them the tour with each house on it. It's just really professional looking and really just engaging. So when I send them that information, they have it all in front of them and we can kind of go back and discuss. The other thing that's really cool about the collections we call the search that we send out to clients, we call it a collection, is that they can comment on the homes and only we see it. So it doesn't go out to any, Zillow or anywhere else, only we see it. So we can communicate through the collection. Of course, they can request a tour, and then I can see that immediately that they want to add that to their tour, and then I can add it. But again, everything is just right there within one platform. I'm not having to go here and there, which
Bounce
is
around. Yeah. Pay for all different platforms and
exactly all the utilities.
programs.
Mhm.
Do you have anything for sellers in that platform as well?
Yes, so for sellers, I think a couple of things that are really great is our private exclusive program. So basically, we can within Compass, and any brokerage can do this, right? But within Compass, we can put the home in front of all the agents within Compass before it goes active, right, on the market. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of different ways. People want to market their homes different ways. And so this is just one way to market the home. So we call it three-phase marketing. The first phase is private exclusive, and that can be from 1 day to 200 days, like however many days they want it to be in private exclusive, again, only in front of Compass agents. And the cool thing about it is it will show up in the collection of a Compass agent. If, say, for example, you were a Compass agent in Port Orange and I had a listing in Port Orange that was private exclusive, but it matched the criteria, it would show up for your client. They would see it, that it's a private exclusive and that it's something that they could tour. So it's a pretty cool way to let your sellers know that you're marketing the home prior to even being on the market. And I'll give you a quick example of how it can be helpful. I had a client who we were just getting ready to put the house on the market, and the last hurricane that came through, so that was in November, December, a big tree hit their house, like knocked the chimney off the house, destroyed the roof. All this work now suddenly has to be done. And they were just getting ready to list their house. They'd already bought another house in Tampa. So we were able to put it in private exclusive, just get it in front of people and have that little extra exposure while they're getting all this work done. Because I could just put a picture of the house, the front of the house and
Yeah.
maybe rooms that I had on the interior. So it just helped. Now with the new ruling with NAR, we can actually individual agents. So I can't do a mass mailing to agents, but I can reach out to individual agents. So for example, that house, if I knew I could, well, anybody knows you can just go online and see who sold homes in that neighborhood, right? So I can call around and say, hey, Bob, I have a listing coming up. It's on this and such street, and this is what we're going to price it at. I know you've had homes sold in this neighborhood. Tell me what you think about this price. Tell me if you have buyers looking for this type of home. So it's also another way to pre-market for the sellers prior to it hitting the market. So that's just one example of how it can
Kind of like
benefit
you
some.
could test the market with it, see if you're pricing it, correctly and stuff like that, and go back, hey, this is what the other agents are saying about, your price and your looks and all that stuff about the house. And it's kind of good because before you hit the mass market with it, you can already tune in just to fine tune the listing, basically. I like that. It's a pretty
It really
cool
is.
program.
It's a great program. Then the second phase of it is coming soon. So as you know, in Florida, you have to once you put a home coming soon, it has to be in the MLS within one business day. So, we can do it on, put it coming soon on Thursday and then put it active on Friday, or you could even put it coming soon on Friday and active on Monday and have two kind of free days of coming soon because it's one business day. I typically do like a Thursday and then put it active Friday. So, but it gives us a little opportunity to get it out there in front of other people, get a little pre-marketing going before days on the market. It also saves days on the market. So let's just say we had put this home on the market, this one that got hit by the tree, and we couldn't have showings and all that stuff. We would have been accumulating days unnecessarily. So it's a nice program. And then of course it becomes active and you do all the things you do when a home's active. But it's a great program and sellers really do like it as far as being able to have that little extra marketing time and test marketing. It can also be helpful for people who want their privacy. They don't want people to know necessarily, their neighbors or anything to know that their house is on the market. So it's just another tool to help people market their home in a just a little bit different way.
How many Compass agents do you guys have in the office or around the Orlando area? Do you know?
I want to say there's about 500, 5 to 600,
That's
something.
pretty good. That's a pretty good exposure then. And we all know Compass is pretty much luxury high end. At
Yeah,
least that's what I've been, researching about Compass.
it is. It
Um,
is. You tend to see a lot of the luxury agents are drawn to Compass, and so that helps, yeah, have that reputation in the area. Mhm.
is Frederick Akelin a Compass agent? I thought he was a Compass agent.
I don't know
Frederick
Frederick.
from New York, the $1 million listings New York. I thought he was a Compass
I
agent.
think they just brought somebody new on. No, that was from California. There's some guy in California they just brought on as like he's the top agent in California. So it was a big, big coup to get him for sure.
Woo!
I know. And they go in and they get whole brokerages. Like they'll like
Yeah.
they buy out whole brokerages. They've been just really expanding a lot. So it's interesting to see what's happening with it and it's
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I don't get to talk to a lot of Compass agents. It's a unique company with the branding and everything where they are in the luxury market, So it's always awesome to talk to. You get the EXP agents, you get the big bulk KWs. You get a ball. You could get a hold of those agents much more easier than a Compass agent. It seems like Compass agents like wow, you like mystic or mystique
missed.
around, yeah, mysteries around you guys.
I know it's funny because they're about culture in the office. So they have
Yeah.
a lot of office meetings or at listings, multi-million dollar home listings. We'll go there for our Tuesday office meeting. And it's people are so friendly and so nice. And it does have that mystique of being ultra luxury, but everybody's just so nice and it's very community oriented. And so it's funny. I've been very happy there for that reason because I'm a very social person. And my other office, well, I never even met hardly any of the agents there. You just kind of come in and go out. They never had any things, but Compass, they have events going on every week in the office. Last week they had Small Business Appreciation Week, and every day they had something happening in the office. You could come in, chair massages or,
Ooh,
things that
nice.
they're doing. So it's just like it builds community, builds relationships, and I think it's been a good what is the word? It's just been a good fit for me, even though I wouldn't necessarily say I'm anywhere close to some of those agents in there that strictly sell multi-million dollar homes. But actually, since I've come to Compass, my price, average price has gone up. So I think there is something a little
Something
connected.
about this Compass thing. I need to wear one around my neck now. What have been some of your most rewarding or memorable real estate moments?
Oh gosh, there's so many good ones. Um, Gosh, let's see, most rewarding. Well, I tell you one was really cool that just happened a couple like 3 weeks ago. I have these friends that we listed their house about 2 years ago because they had found this house in the country, and we were doing a you know, for gosh, I'm blanking out on the word when you sell your
For sale by owner.
contingent on the sale of your home
Oh,
offer, and they accepted it. But we had 45 days to sell their house or the deal was off, right? So we put the house on the market, did all the things, and did not get one showing in 45 days. It was bizarre. And we lowered the price. We did things. We did open houses. We did brokers opens. We did all the things. Couldn't sell it. Okay. So the deal fell apart. That was it. They were still wanting to move to the country, this family. And so 2 years later, fast forward, they had found this house in Leesburg and we went and saw it and tried to do contingency, wouldn't fly. So I was like, well, your only option is, if you really want this house, you're just gonna have to buy it and sell your house. And I said, this is actually better because I think it's better for you to clear your house completely out and sell it empty because sometimes there's certain types of homes that just sell better empty. And
mhm.
so it was one of those things where it was like just remembering, that 2 years before we didn't get a showing in 45 days, right? So I told them, everything I asked them to do, they did. They did everything to get their house ready to list. They priced it the way I said they should price it, did all the painting and everything that we said to do, right? So the day before we're going on the market, we were doing an open house the next day. And she said, I just want you to know that my whole family has been praying that we get an offer this weekend and it's full price and we get multiple offers even. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, like the pressure is
The
on, right?
pressure is there.
Okay, I'm saying a prayer too because I'm like, ah. So we had the open house the next day. We had two showings actually prior to the open house. By the end of the open house, we had one offer. I called the other showing, they put an offer in, and then I called everybody that came to the open house and got another offer. So we
Wow.
ended up with multiple offers on the first day on the market, and it was just crazy. It was wild. So, and then and th that was just such an amazing story. I couldn't even believe it because I never, wouldn't have believed that that would happen, but it was great. And so that was a really fun story. Let me think if I had, that was a long one, so I guess we can go on to your next question.
I'm just thinking about this the story. I'm like, it is how much it has to do with the mindset of the people also owning the house to be able to sell the house. And then of course the agent's mindset has to be always on point as well. But I always like the law of attraction, and this is exactly a perfect example of it. They prayed on it. That's basically attracting it. They're meditating on getting what they wanted to get. They got it. Like, here you go. Law of attraction works if you really want it.
They just were, that was amazing to me. And I think you're right. Everybody in the family was all on the same page too about the whole thing, the moving, the buying the other house. There was a lot of not on the same pageness going
Mm-hmm.
on. And with this time, every family member, everybody was ready to make the move, ready to sell the house. So yes, I think if everybody is all together, God can do amazing
Setting out
things.
the waves of the universe. You see the market shift through many phases. What advice would you give the new agents trying to build a business that lasts?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think this business can be one that once you dig in and get past that, hurdle of the first couple years, because they are really hard. And anytime I talk to a new agent, I'm always like, I cannot overtell you how hard the first couple years are. And that you're just going to hate it. It's going to be so hard. And just so you know, not to have for you to have a negative mindset, but just for you to be ready for, okay, Kathy said it's going to be hard. I need to keep persevering. So I would say a big thing is, again, your mindset and just staying positive. Hey, especially if you've owned a business before, like you said, you had owned a business before. And then, when you start over, you can say, hey, I did it before. I can do it again. It may not happen today or next week or next month, or it may even take me 2 years to get this going. But So for me, I feel like it took me 2 years to get my business really going because
Oh yeah.
it was just so hard to get, people didn't see me as a realtor. Like I've been other things and they just didn't see me that way. So, and I didn't see, to be honest, I didn't see myself that way. My first couple years, I was like, what am I even doing here? I had that like whole imposter syndrome. Like,
Yeah.
who am I? I can't do this. Who am I? And I realized that was the wrong way to think. I needed to think, hey, I'm perfectly capable. I'm just as worthy and capable as anyone else to be successful in this business. And I will prove it today with my actions. And that's one of my affirmations that I said to myself when I was starting, and I still say it to myself too, because I know that it's important to keep your mind believing it, and then it's not woohoo. Your mind will cause your actions to happen. So that's what I love about it. But I, for me, it was really important to build my business by relation, so work by relation. So building relationships was really important to me, and I feel like I have succeeded in that. I have people that I worked with 9 years ago that pick up the phone and call me, and I feel like I can pick up the phone and call anybody from 9 years ago, and they're not going to be like, "Who are you?" Like, I don't remember you, because I've always stayed in touch. I think it's really important to stay in touch with your database. So we do client parties every year where we invite everybody. And we have a couple different, there's couple parties where it's just an exclusive group of people who refer me the most, and they get a certain party. But then there's the pie party that we do in Thanksgiving, where we basically invite anybody and everybody who's ever done business with us or ever referred us business, and also neighbors and whoever, you know what I mean? We just invite everybody and give them a Thanksgiving pie for their Thanksgiving dinner. But just staying in front of people, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a personal note, whether it's, email or newsletter, or just anything that you can do to stay in front of your sphere of influence is just so important. I can't overstate that for clients. So many people, they realize 5 years into the business, I don't, I didn't stay in touch with those people at all. Like, oh my gosh. And then you wonder how many missed opportunities have there been because you didn't stay in touch with those people who liked you and liked doing business with you, but they just kind of forgot who you were because you didn't stay in touch. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I truly believe in that. I think that's a great way of doing it. I know I lack on that sometimes.
We all do. We all do.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, it's so hard, you know. It's like, oh my God, when do I find the time? And you got to find the time because it is basically free business. You know, it's a referral coming from a friend or a family member or a past client. You know, a gift card, really, like $50, maybe it will cost you to get that, not to get, you're giving that because thank you for the referral. It costs, you nothing. And I'm on the other hand, I've always been a marketing guy. I'm marketing first, so I always put a lot of money into marketing. And I know that you with the referrals, I mean, you build a referral business, you spend money on those things, but it's not even close to what usually we spend on marketing every, month, recurring and recurring and recurring and recurring. So definitely is a good way to keep following up with your clients. I learned this in an early age of my career. Somebody did it to me. I went and bought something from someone, and then they put a paper in front of me, and hey, can you put three names down on this paper who you think that would also benefit from this product? And like, God, that was a good thing because then you're sitting there, you're thinking about it, and you put the three names down, you give it to them, and they got to go call those people.
Mhm.
At every closing, you should be doing that
Yeah.
because most people that are in the process of buying or selling have friends that are in the process also in buying or selling, or family members or someone. So putting a paper in front of them is like, hey, could you give me, three names to call, and just,
Mhm.
I think that's a great way of building a business, basically.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's important to let them know, like, I really enjoyed working with you. I would love to work with people just like you. So if who do you know that?
exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. I like to work with people like you. Please send me more people like you. Very, very like working with you. Because there are those people that you very, very like working with, and then there's all those people that you very, very don't like working with. But the ones that you like very, very working with, those are the ones that you need to follow up with all the time.
Yeah, we do a lot of personal notes to people, which I think
Yeah.
is a touch point. And then what we call pop buys. Have you heard of the pop buys? It's just a small thing. You just drop off at their house. Like for Mother's Day, I dropped off cute little tote bags with their initial on them for Mother's Day, and next month we'll do something for Father's Day. And we don't hit every customer every month, but you hit about 20 to 30 people a month. Every month you're gonna touch.
It's a rotation. Yeah.
Mhm. And it's
You'll
a
stay top of mind. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
That's
and
tough.
people know it's
I
important.
I tried that one year with Thanksgiving. I was dropping off candles because it was like we found these awesome candles at sale for at Marshalls. They were selling them for like $1, and it was like the Yankee candles, the giant ones that smell really good. I was like, you can't get those for this much money anywhere. Let's just buy all of them to drop it off to all my clients. And it was like it took us from morning to night. We were driving around. We had about 40 of my clients, and I'm like, God, that was stressful. That was
It's
trying to
funny
get
because
everywhere, You had all these bags ready.
it's better if you do it, just for tips for anybody else out there. It's better to do it more consistently but less at a time, because then it's enjoyable, right? You can
Yeah.
text. I try to text my client and say, "Hey, are you going to be around today? I was going to come by and pop by and bring you something. Say hi." Just say, you don't go in their house, you don't hang out, you just go to the door. And sometimes you miss them and you just have to leave it at the door. But the idea is just to be face to face, voice to voice with them. And
That's a good.
whenever I do it like that, instead of just drop it off and run, I just feel so good. It's like it energizes me because I'm like, oh, I made somebody's day. I made somebody smile. I made somebody like happy. And so I know what you mean though, but I have done them where I'm just like driving and I'm exhausted. Oh my gosh.
Like, oh my God, are we gonna get to the last one today? Like, it's already like 7 p.m. and the sun's going down, and you're trying to get to the next one. And you made this amazing realtor plan of how you're gonna look at 20 houses that day, because
I
that's what
know.
it is basically. You
Right.
draw it up on the map. You have to go here first, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then here. So the fastest and shortest way of doing it. And real realtors are pretty good at that. You're like, we can make 40 houses happen in one day. It's like the mega showing, tour, but
Sounds brutal.
yeah, yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun, and it's
Yes,
and it's
it
rewarding. And gratitude, giving back is always you get back when you give, you get. So you feeling good is what you get back, and that's a great feeling always. Every single time you get to do that. So, how do you educate your clients on making the smartest decisions, especially in this current market that we're having right now?
Well, we do. I don't know if we haven't talked about it yet, but my daughter and I have a YouTube channel, and we do a lot of market updates and just informational things about Orlando and the neighborhoods and the suburbs and all of that. But I think that is one way, and I don't try to bombard my database with my videos. Like I'll send it out maybe once every other month. I probably should send them out more because people do like them.
You should every week.
Yeah,
That's
I probably should because we don't do them every week. We do them twice a month.
okay. Every
But
time you do one, you should send it out to your whole database. I truly believe that video is a marketing tool that people, and if it's something really good informational, why
yeah,
not send it out anyways?
I know
They'd
you're
rather hear
right.
it from you than read it in the news, I'm pretty sure.
It's probably that is so true. So we do that, and I think you're right. I need to just do that. I'm going to write that down. I'm
Put
going
it
to do.
down. Put it down.
Thank you for making reminding me to do that. So I think that's very educational. I think that's how we help our clients cut through, like you said, some of the noise that you hear. Because I just got a statistic from Buffini and Company, and they presented it from I think NAR, wherever they got it from, but only 7 times in the past 75 years have home prices gone down in the US. 7 times in the last, you know,
Wow.
ev how many times do you hear somebody go, oh, just wait for the prices to drop, just wait? Well, you're looking at maybe once every 10 years. And really, four of those years were back to back from 8, 9, 10, and 11. So four of
Yeah.
those were caused by a catastrophic situation in the market, that happened due to a lot of, failures that happened. But so let's call it failure.
Let's call them failures. Yeah, let's call them greedy people. We're doing really
Yes.
much greed, and that's why it happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you take those four out, because if that was a
And
that
there's
was
three.
then there's three in the last 75 years. And that's not going to happen again. I mean, I think that lesson has been learned. And that's not going to, we're not going to do loans based on nothing anymore. That's not ever going to happen again. I can't
I,
imagine.
I always talk to my friends about this, and this is so true. Once something the price raises, a market, you go into the shop and the price of milk goes up. Have you ever seen the price of milk go down? No. Not really. I've never seen it. Inflation is inflation, They call it inflation, it's the tax on the poor, basically. But my farmer's a perfect example. 2 years ago, when I started buying my eggs from him, it was $3 a dozen. Then he raised it to $4. Now it's $5. I don't think he's ever going to drop it back down to $4 because he's going to have 100 chickens laying 1,000 eggs. I don't think it's going to happen. He's going to keep it at $5 because people are paying $5 for it already, and they get used to paying $5 for it. So he's going to keep that price. I think it's the same thing with everything else in the world. Once the price is this high and people get used to the price being this high, they're not going to be like, oh, it's going to come down. Like, yeah, sure. Like that ever really happened.
Mhm.
You said three times, three times. One was probably the Great Depression or something like that. One was somewhere in the 70s, if I remember correctly.
Yep, yep.
You know,
Hmm.
so there's like, that was another depression. We have to hit a depression for something like that to happen. And it doesn't really drop that far down and it goes back right back up
Yeah,
after everything corrects. And it's always a faster, it's a fast down and then it goes back up, so it's tough. And you're not going to see a 2008, 9, 10 happen again because there were guides put in place by, I think it was the Obama administration or something like that, with the Dodd-Frank Act, that makes lenders not being able to lend just on whims. You have to be approved. You have to have this much down payment. Your credit has to be this much. You have to have a stable job. It's so many things involved in today's market in getting a mortgage that rates are not going to drop down. And people that bought cash, guess what? They're not going to drop their price. I don't think so. Not unless, they're trying to get rid of some investment property that's not running profit for them. And
yeah,
that's average mom and pop shops are not really in the position to drop price under their purchase price. Maybe BlackRock can to take a hit, but for that, BlackRock has to exit the real estate industry all in all, like they're not going to just offload their, hundreds of thousands of properties for under market value. I don't see that happening. They're in for profit. They're not in for, you know,
yeah.
what we're talking about. That's the only thing I can think of, like I'm like, there's no other way. Like, what's gonna happen? And they came in and bought up a lot of houses during 2008, 9, 10. So, it's tough. It's tough.
I
You're
do
so
believe,
right on this.
yeah, and I do believe like within the next year, and that's loosey goosey, but I do believe the rates are going to start coming down. And when they do, there people are going to pop back in. So even though we've got more inventory now than we've had in the past, you know, 8, 9 years. Well, I think we're getting back to where we were about 8, 9 years ago. Like 3.5 months worth of inventory is what we are in Orlando area. That's for single family homes. For
That's
condos,
totally normal market. That's a
it's a
balanced
normal.
market.
So for condos and townhomes, we are in a buyer's market in Orlando. We've got, you know, probably 6 months worth of inventory with condos and
Yeah, that's
townhomes.
that's that's already a buyer's market. I think between 3 and 6 somewhere is our happy median, where it's a balanced market. Under 3 is definitely a seller's market. Over 6 could be a buyer's market, depending on what kind of inventory we're looking at. A luxury is usually over 6 months because they take longer to sell. So, but if
Yeah.
you're looking at regular condos and regular houses, if it's over 6 months, you're probably in a buyer's market, or it's easier to negotiate. And
Hmm.
that's there again comes in the expertise of a real estate agent. Is not every area is in a buyer's market. Orlando as a whole might be in a buyer's market, in condos and townhouses, but you go to a really desirable area and they only have one on the market. You're not in a buyer's market there. Like
Yeah.
Lake Nona, for instance. I think that's one of those like, wow, everybody wants to live in Lake Nona or that area. And price is not really, I've seen a little bit come down, but it's not really been dropping drastically.
Now, I always tell people, real estate is hyper local. And
Yeah,
that's exactly what you're saying, like hyper local. Like Kissimmee is completely different than downtown Orlando, then is different than Lake Nona or different than Winter Garden. They're all completely different markets. So you just have to understand each market, and who can do that better than a realtor? Like, that's been
exactly.
the whole time.
Exactly. That I don't think AI can even do that yet, because it's
No.
not just about looking at statistics. It's more about, oh, I know that house. That's been sitting on the market for a reason.
Yeah.
Like you get what I'm saying? Like AI can't analyze that just by the data. you have to be a person looking at the pictures and the owners, or the agent on that, or the
Yeah,
reason why it is.
yeah,
That's a good thing about still having realtors around.
exactly. We're still here.
Oh, so what's next for you? Any new ventures, projects, or goals on the horizon for your little
Let's
team?
see. Well, we talked about, so like I said, we do our videos for YouTube. We do them bi-weekly, so twice a month, basically. And we are, and when I first started doing my YouTube channel, which was back in 2020, I did videos every week. So there was a new video every week. And then I got just into, it's a grueling thing, as you know from podcasting. It's a lot to get it all done, right? So we went to twice a month, and it seemed to be fine doing that. So we've talked about going back to four times a month and doing every other month, every other week, doing a kind of like Kathy and Savannah on location. So it might be a shorter video. It might be, but like go back through some of our older videos that and kind of almost, bring them back up again and be like, here we are in Windermere. And so, and talk about it, some things that we like about Windermere and just show some B-roll of some, neighborhoods and things like that. And then that would be something less intensive to put together. The only hard part is being on location. Location is so hard to do, as you know. Being in a studio like this with the controlled environment is so much easier. You don't have the jackhammer in the background that suddenly comes out of nowhere, or the dog that starts to bark,
The honking guys,
the honking people.
construction
Yeah.
workers. Oh, look at Kathy's out there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's too many things that can go wrong when you're outside. But we thought, it might be fun to just do something like that every other week. Or maybe do that one week and do a live stream like this from the studio from here. Maybe do that once a month too. So just kind of shifting that up a little bit. Although, I mean, it's been doing really well. Our channel's doing really, really well. So it's not that we need, but we get really good leads from our YouTube channel, like really quality people that we want to work with, really great people.
That's
So,
awesome.
I just want to add more of that. I always want more better, more better, more better people.
More better, more is better. Oh, it's a numbers game on leads. Good suggestion, maybe. I know Orlando's huge, but I've noticed a lot of people like to see like local hotspots and stuff like that. You guys could do something like that too. It's like eat out, dine out, play, Top Golf, whatever,
Mhm.
and just a short videos like, hey, we got this going on. This area just opened,
Yeah.
or these are the best spots to go to in Windermere or Lake Nona or wherever, and just do little videos of those. I've been getting a lot of hits on community videos that I've done. I still have
Hmm.
one that keeps marching ahead. Every month, 30, 40, 50 people watch it. And it's been 2.5 years I uploaded it. I'm like, that's awesome. It keeps rolling and rolling and rolling.
Yeah.
Did about Halifax Plantation. I just did a video of Halifax Plantation. It took 2.5 minute video. It wasn't a long one. Flew my drone around a little bit, walked around, talk a little. I talk over my videos, so I'm not really in the
Yeah.
video. So it's fairly easy because you go out, you do the shots of there are certain things, and then you put some music under it, and you basically talk over about the description of the area. So you don't even have to be in the video, and
Hmm.
there's music under it, so there's not really like jackhammering and stuff like that going on. I've noticed that those help too, to gain traction for people that are moving to our areas, from other places. Like, hey, by the way, you get a referral from, I don't know, Washington State. Would you like to see a video of, Kissimmee and or Bitter Garden or Lake Nona? I have them on my YouTube channel. Here's the links. Take a look. Which area do you like the most? I talk about the area. I show you the highlights of the area. It's about a 3 minute video. You could take, watch all of them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I
Yeah,
think
I love those ideas. We're real, I guess I would say our content that we have been doing and for the last well, I mean, I think our content's always been really good, but especially over the last 3 or 4 years, we've done less videos, but the content has been just rich.
Mhm.
And I've had that comment from several people, several buyers who have ended up working with us from the videos. And they say, your content is just so good and so informative. And so I'm conscious of the fact that I don't want to
I
put
loop.
something in there that's less than. So that's part of the reason why we're kind of going into it a little slowly, like what stays in line with really good content, but also switches it up a little bit. I mean, it's like, don't, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I hate, that's the thing too. It's like, you know, but I think it's still good to try new things and experiment with it and just
How
see.
about this? Start a new YouTube channel and do different content on the other YouTube channels so you don't mess up your algorithm on your current YouTube channel. Keep the way it is, same
Mhm.
content that will keep the algorithm the way, showing it to the people that want to see that kind of content. Do a separate YouTube channel with different content for, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then you can
yeah.
still share that and send it out to your database the same way as you do with this one. But it's not going to mess up the algorithm of your original YouTube channel, which has all the statistics and market updates and whatnot on it that you have already.
Yeah, I
Just
mean, this
an
one
idea.
is, yeah, no, no, it's good. This one is mostly what we do is we do neighborhoods, neighborhoods,
Yeah.
top neighborhoods, or we compare a neighborhood to another neighborhood, or we'll do new construction, like what's a new construction area in a different place to kind of tell about it. We'll do, and then maybe about every fourth or fifth video is a market update. So we don't do a ton of statistics and data. It's more information about if you're going to relocate. So that channel is branded as, we're your Orlando relocation experts. So it's definitely attracting people who are thinking about relocating.
So I think the content we just talked about would go good with that, hotspots, etc., because that also helps with relocation.
Hmm.
Yeah, that would go good with that. That's cool.
Oh, fun.
What do you think? What are the biggest mistakes you see clients make and how can they avoid them?
Biggest mistake by clients?
Well, the biggest mistakes clients make and
Okay.
how could they avoid them?
That's a really good question. They didn't work
I
with you or
make you
me,
think all the
Lancelot.
time.
They should have called you or me. What were they thinking?
Yeah. That's always the biggest mistake.
I think, well, especially for sellers, the biggest thing is thinking their home is worth more than it is. That's a huge mistake, and it can cost you days on the market. It can cost you in a lot of ways by overpricing your home. I think that's a big one for sellers. For buyers, I think the biggest mistake is I don't know. I would guess say not getting pre-approved before they get the process started. I mean, whenever anybody calls me that wants to buy, my first question, not first, but one of the first questions is, have you gotten pre-approved? And let me connect you with my lender if you have not got pre-approved. So and I won't show them homes without being pre-approved because that's just how important it is to not be thinking you are qualified for one thing and then the reality is another. Because the thing that I always tell them, like, you may have an idea of what you think you can afford, which is great, but it's really important for you to see the numbers laid out because once you see that payment, that may trigger something in you, and maybe make you want to back out of the whole thing. And then I don't want to be 15 houses into this and you go, "Oh, that's what my payment would be." So we want to know what that payment's going to be early on, roughly. I know taxes and HOA fees can be variables, but within a margin, we want to
Yeah. How much your P&L is going to be, or not P&L, the you see,
monthly, your payments
yes,
and interest.
principal and interest. That at least you know that, and then anything else could change depending on
Yeah,
where you buy, what you buy, what's the price
exactly.
tag, etc. That's yeah. Now, those two would have been probably my top choices too on that question. What unique challenges and opportunities are you seeing with luxury buyers and sellers in Central Florida?
So right now, it is definitely, like you said, there's more of an opportunity for buyers, I think, because just they're moving slower. So you're able to negotiate a better price than you might would have 5 years ago, 6 years ago, although the prices have gone up a lot since 5 or 6 years ago. So I think the opportunity is that most of these sellers have a good amount of equity, so they have room to negotiate. It's not like, oh, well, if they lower the price, they walk away with no proceeds. most everybody has a good amount of equity in their home right now, so they can afford to, you know, negotiate, take a little haircut on the price there to work with a buyer. So I'm seeing that with my buyers. You know, as a matter of fact, this week I'm taking two different buyers out on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That one's looking in Lake Mary, one's looking in Winter Garden. They're both around the 1.2 to 1.4 million price range, and plenty of houses to look for, to look at. I mean, just, you know, a lot of inventory to choose from, which is really great. Having choices is awesome for buyers right now. And I think that, and not feeling like you have to run there to it, you know. I always say still, if a home is a cream puff, you know, it is perfect, it comes on the market and you're like, ooh, that checks every single box of mine, then we should probably run there no matter what, you know, because likely there's other people out there that see that same thing in that home. So I think it's just a great time to be a buyer right now in this market. Now
Oh, for sure.
for sellers, you know, it's just, you just need to be really strategic in your pricing, you know, and I get that you don't want to underprice it, you don't want to leave money on the table, but you still need to be strategic and pricing it right where you need to be in that sweet pot spot where you could still lower it if you needed to, but it's not, you know, super overpriced to where you're going to sit there and nobody's going to look at it.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Kathy. And thank you for sharing your wisdom, your story, and your passion for for anyone looking to navigate the Orlando market with confidence. You know who to call. You can connect with Kathy at teamwilliamsorlando.com or reach her directly at the phone number is going to be down in the description. Be sure to follow her journey on social media. And if you love this episode, share it, subscribe, and leave a review. Until next time, this is the Real Estate Roundtable, where the industry best pull up their chairs. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.